Hello, my name is Carlos St. James, a resident of Leander, Texas here. I'm also very fortunate to have been part of the team that helped create this new organization called the Leander Foundation, a nonprofit that, if we do this right, stands to do a lot of good for the city of Leander. But that's not what I'm talking about here. There'll be time to discuss this and pitch that stuff. What I want to do here is present the beginning of a series of very short videos I'm going to do that explain our city. It explains it with hard numbers, without opinions, and compares our city to our neighboring towns around as well, which will serve to educate us and get us understand what exactly is going on here. So we're going to have a series of short videos explaining a bunch of different things. One of them, of course, will be just showing what historically has happened with our property valuations. Okay, we all know this story, but what are the hard numbers? Back in 2006, the total valuation of property in Leander was under $1 billion. And then it started growing. And then suddenly 2014, 2015 happened and it really took off. And now suddenly we're in a position in 2021 where the total valuation of our property exceeds $7 billion. It's an amazing story. It's over 700% growth in that period. It's well over 300% growth just in the last few years. It's an incredible story, but it's a mixed blessing. It depends on what your perspective is, right? So within our city, we have people who bought in 2014 and they think they're geniuses, right? Because it's gone up like crazy. There are other people who may have been here forever and all they know is that their property taxes keep going up and up and up. There are other people who are looking to buy in their hometown for the first time, and they're finding they're getting squeezed out because they can't afford it anymore. So we want to debate these things and say, is this overall good? Do we want it to continue this way? More importantly, can something be done about it? Other cities actually have managed to do things about this. So that's going to be one video that we'll get into. We'll do other things like look at our city's expenditure side. This pie chart you're looking at here represents the expenditure side for the general fund for this current year. Okay, there are no surprises. It's pretty much in line with previous years, and it's more or less in line with what our sister cities have around us as well. The red piece, which are the safety services, there of course that runs police and fire, which is usually the biggest piece of it. Most cities have roughly half of it goes to that. One thing that we'll find whenever we get down to discussing this one is that green piece there, community services, which includes things like parks, recreation, events, libraries. Um, the city of Leander has historically spent considerably less than our neighboring cities on that piece of it. So the conversation we'll have around that is, why is that the case? Do we want to do something about it, or are we fine with it as is? We'll also take a look at our tax rate historically. Here you can see actually the gray number is the total number over time for the last 10 years. And it was fairly flat until 2014, 2015, when it started dropping. Of course, that's when those property valuations started going through the roof. The orange line represents the debt rate. It's fairly flat, as you can see, kind of goes nowhere. Same with every other city. Those tend to not move. They don't go anywhere. Where you do see some action, some reduction is in the blue line, the operating tax rate. Okay. Now that's what started to drop here in Leander. And the debate we're going to have is it dropping fast enough? Do we want it to drop faster? Is that in our best interest, given a city that needs all kinds of infrastructure? And if not, what are the alternatives? Where else will we get some revenues? Okay, we'll take a look at other cities and their total tax rates and see. Leander is indeed a city that has higher taxes than most, but as you can see here, it is not by any means the one with the highest taxes. Okay, so we can actually do a quick look at what have other cities done to lower their tax rates, how are they diversified, what success stories can we emulate and learn from, and what mistakes do we want to stay away from. Okay, we can also take a look at the revenue sources of some of our neighboring cities as well. What this does here, for this current year, it highlights in red the numbers that are anomalies, something that's outside the norm of what everyone else does. Okay, some are easy to explain. Take a look at San Marcos there, for example. Look at that sales tax revenue that they get. Amen for those guys. That one's easily explained, but others aren't quite as easy to explain. So we'll go into that and see what's going on in some of those cities and what might be able to be done about it. We will inevitably talk about water, right? And again, this is important. Without intent to point fingers or blame, what's done is done. Really, that is irrelevant. Let's look at the numbers, let's look at the facts and see what is going on, what happened, what is happening, what is going to happen, what options do we have, if any, and so educate ourselves so that when we get around to voting on these things or debating them, we actually know what we're talking about and we're not dealing with just opinions, but we actually have facts and hard numbers to debate. Okay, so this is what our organization is looking to do We're not a political organization by any means, but it's something that we thought we could actually add value by engaging with the community and creating debate about these things. This is a really rich debate to have. We are in a really fortunate position in this town that we actually are part of a rapidly growing economy. It's growing in all kinds of directions. That means opportunity. It's a blessed place to be in. The problems we have are nice problems to have. And so I look forward to sharing this with you. I urge you to share it and like and do whatever it is you're supposed to do on social media so that you get this around more. Please start commenting now. And I look forward to having this debate on each one of these videos as they start coming out. I pray that I don't regret doing this, but I think we're going to have a blast. I think it'll be a really enriching experience for all of us. Lord knows I'm learning all kinds of things about it. And I look forward to having this debate with you more and more and ending up with a greater city. Thank you so much.